Living apart together, or living together but apart. You know, close, but not too close, and often not together. Today we're talking about couples that don't live under the same roof, or maybe live under the same roof, but not in the same room. Yes, that is a real and not all too uncommon thing. That's where the living apart together thing comes in. And we're talking multi-gen households and kids and parents living together and all the different ways and options we can make that work together. Hey everybody, it's Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. This living apart together client is a subset of clients that I seem to be serving more and more. And it's not just this direct client of, hey, my spouse and I don't necessarily live in the same room and our house configuration needs to be different. It is this multi-gen set where the kids and parents need to figure out how they're going to be together, and the thinking forward piece of, hey, our house needs to work for us today like this. We need 4 bedrooms, 2.5 or 3 baths, but we're considering or worried about X, Y, Z. And that could be, we're gonna age in place, we don't want to leave here. You know, my spouse has a health issue such as Parkinson's or ALS, and we really don't plan to do long-term care. We're gonna need health care to come into the home. Or we're gonna be moving our parents in with us. When we move here, it's not just us, we're actually bringing on an adult child, their boyfriend, our parents, and we all need to be able to live in this house, and we need a lot of elbow room. Or we as a couple live here together and we need a lot of separation. We in fact want 2 kitchens, 2 bedrooms, 2 offices, or sometimes the couples don't live under the same roof. There are so many different configurations of living apart together or living together apart that I am working with. So we're talking about how do we look at that and make it work here in Denver. And there are a lot of options. The first ones we're gonna look at are the straight multi-gen home options with builders and the new construction. First up is Lennar. I'm gonna share my screen here with you. If you're looking for multi-gen options with them, you have several choices: Looking Glass, Makanta, Red Rocks Ranch. Now the prices are gonna be different in each location. Lennar prices their homes based on where the land is, the demand for that location. Red Rocks Ranch by and far is typically their most expensive spot because it's over toward the foothills. Everything that is over on the west side of town kind of has that west side premium closer to the foothills, and that is certainly true with Red Rocks Ranch. Plus there are, depending on where that house is, some pretty nice views. So the super home, we have here an option in Looking Glass. As I share the screen, we're in the low 900s. Super home versus super home SL. SL means side load. That's an orientation of the garage. It's really not much else that is different with that one. Now we go from Lennar over to Shea. Shea has one multi-gen option they introduced recently. That is the Walton floor plan. Really great option. Their price point is gonna be higher. Your base price in their 2 locations is over $1 million. They are in Solstice and they are in Castle Pines at the Canyons. So here you can see we've got the multi-gen option. Their floor plan takes a second to load. Let me zoom this in for you just a little bit. So the multi-gen is already in there. It's not something you have to create or add on, right? With some builders, you have to pay to create the multi-gen. It's just here. And you can see it is an entire side, an entire wing of the house. So living space wise, when you're sharing the house with someone, your main floor space is really cut in half because the multi-gen side takes up a lot of it, but it is a substantial amount of space. So it gives the person living in the multi-gen a lot of footprint. They do have some options. You can make it a 2-bedroom unit. And then of course you can do all of your Shea structurals because with them you really get to customize the entire home. Now, there are some other options with Shea, but they may not be as easy for you in terms of transitioning because they're not all on the first level. We go over to Lyric, where I've talked so much about how you have ADU options. These are great spots to rent out, places to have an office. You could possibly do business if you're allowed to have business in your home, but these aren't necessarily on the first floor. So we look over at this one right here. We've got the Storyteller collection, which is going to be the largest collection in Lyric. The models open there November 2023. Many of these, if they're giving you any bonus room or ADU option, are on the second floor. So this means whoever's using that space has to be able to go upstairs. right? So often we're not talking about elderly parents or someone who's sick that you're going to be caring for. But it could be great for kids. If you have college kids that are coming back, want to rent a space, if you're going to be using it for office work, something else creative. Here's what the Elliott floor plan, this one right here, looks like when we add the ADU on. This is floor 2. And if we click on the ADU, it bumps it out and adds on. So it actually doesn't take away from the rest of the house, it adds to the house for you. So that's just one example. And then in the Lyric Tribute Collection, those are 2 different options. So they have some that are on one level of the house where you just come right in from the garage and it's at the main level. But if whoever lived there was going to join you in the house, if you weren't renting that out, they have to come upstairs. And then they have what they're calling ADUs and they're down in the basement. So either way, there are stairs involved where you're in these kind of traditional single level homes, or if you're in more of these 3-story tall homes here. So either way, there are some fantastic options. I love how diverse and creative they've gotten. But if we're looking for kind of that elderly parent situation, these may not be the ones that win out long term. All right, let's go over here to Taylor Morrison. They have one that can be turned into a multi-gen. This is their Ridge home. I built this one out, printed the PDF. So you have to add the multi-gen suite on. That alone is about a $50,000 upgrade. So this is one where it's not standard. It's not built into the price. You're going to pay for that along with all your structural upgrades. But here's what that looks like. So it's on the front of the house. They do not have a garage automatically attached to the unit, right? So it's kind of not necessarily all encompassing for them. But they get their multi-gen living room, their multi-gen bedroom, and then that kind of bathroom in the back half. The way this one's laid out, they share it with the rest of the house. So a little less private than the others, probably not the most ideal, but definitely workable. Gives them privacy separate from everywhere else. Okay, Toll Brothers, they have 3 options. Some of these are fantastic because like I have clients who are bringing family in and their kids are moving on, going to college. They don't need a 6-bedroom house, which some of these are. And so we have options that fit multi-gen, allow the kids to come back and hover around a while till they launch out in their mid-20s without my folks buying a house that's really meant for kind of a growing family situation. And here's the quandary. This is the big one, the mega house. Now, this is available in Alyson Ranch. However, they are sold out in their current phase. They won't open any back up that you can customize until phase 3. Let's take a peek at the floor plan. I'm going to show you that. And then let's flip over to this page where we can customize it. And you'll get to see where they're going to put that multi-gen suite, okay? So you'll see it goes right there. Let me unclick it for you. It covers up a bedroom suite and a dining room and turns it into a living room, a bedroom, bathroom, all that. So the formal dining room goes away and they convert that space. It doesn't really take away much from the rest of the living area. And then you have all the options to customize the rest of the house. This is a big house. I will show you on the 2nd floor real quick. You have your primary suite. You have a 6th bedroom up top already, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6. You still have an open area to below, a mega house, as well as a whole basement. Now, Toll does not finish basements in the Denver Metro right now. You'd have to finish that, but you'd have so much footprint below too, still. The other option, we've got the Crawford floor plan, another one that is really great, okay? So there's what the floor plan looks like. Let's flip over here to what it looks like to customize it. Multi-gen suite. It's on the front of the house. Let me unclick it again. All right, we have a study and a garage. The garage goes away and becomes the living room. And then we have that suite. Now you can add a garage to the side and you can add a garage to the front. So you don't have to lose the garage for that kind of side of the house for someone who's going to take on living in there if they still want that, need that. So there are options for how you can keep the garages going, or you can even get to more garage space. All right, now this one, let's see, let me go to 2nd floor. This one's not as large. There are loft, bedroom 2 and bedroom 3. This is much more adequate for a smaller type family, right? Or if you have just a mature couple and then maybe need some offices at home. This is a much better size without this large burgeoning family kind of situation. And then there is still one more from Toll, the Dillon. All right, I love having options. It's so fantastic. All right, scroll down, let you see the floor plan. Let's flip over to customize it. And multi-gen suite right here. All right, so multi-gen suite is in. You still have the 1-car garage on the front. It didn't take it away. All right, let me take it away again. So it goes into the dining room area and it pushes the house out. So you get a larger footprint when they put that in. All right, so it is going to be an upgrade. There are going to be costs. It's certainly going to be substantial when you're adding footprint to the house. But what it doesn't do is really change the living area for everyone else on the main floor. And that's always a bonus. So when we're looking at things like, say, the Shea Walton, where half of that living space is really gone, they didn't change it, but you don't have a lot there. It's nice to see floor plans where the house doesn't really change much other than losing a formal dining room, which a lot of people don't use. Not everyone, but a lot, okay? Now, these homes will also eventually come up in resale. It's so new for most of these builders to have these multi-gen options that you are not finding a lot of them on the open market. Your best option to find resale is going to be Lennar because they've been doing multi-gen the longest. So we will occasionally run across some. I did just find one and sent it to a client who's specifically interested in this floor plan, and it was at a pretty good price, around 1.1 million here in the South Denver area. It still looked fantastic. All the landscaping was done. The design work looked fantastic. The fence was there. And so 1.1 is a very good price considering that we're finding basic entry-level homes with no landscaping, no fence in the mid-9s right now. So to find resale in any of these other ones would be nearly impossible at this point. If stairs are an option and we can look at finished basements, then absolutely a fantastic way to go and a much bigger bang for your buck. Here's what that can look like. I have pulled up some great samples. I know this is easier to find, right? To find a finished basement. Often though, the kicker is we're looking for a kitchen or kitchenette down there. I have a family that really wants to have their parents come move in with them. They want to give them a basement apartment. So their two things that they're looking for are a walkout basement for loads of natural light so their parents don't feel like they're in a dungeon, and they want the basement to already have all the plumbing in, some sort of kitchenette built in. And so it's really whittled down their options. And then of course there's just the location piece, right? Because there is work and school and kids and grandkids to factor into this multi-gen living. But here are some options of what it can look like. We've got $1.7 million house. Part of the reason for this price point is location. It's in the back country in Highlands Ranch, which is a fantastic gated community. I've done a video on that. You can check that out right up here. But we're looking at this really lovely home. You see nice floors, great open space, nice paint. But let's get down to the basement. You can see they've got a walkout here. That's great for light. The kitchenette is in there. Wide open, long room. Awesome. They've got the bathroom, you've got the living room. This workout room is the bedroom. Probably not the largest room, but I bet a queen bed would fit in there no problem. And then you're also paying, as I've talked about, open space. This does not back up to a neighbor. That's another whole entire point to the premium here. So this house, 1.2 million roughly. Our market's a little softer right now here at the end of 2023. This house is over in Littleton. We're in the Sterling Ranch area. This one's a beauty. Let's get down to the basement. We don't need to scroll the whole house, right? We just want to see those basement apartments. That is the entire kitchen down there. They put a full kitchen in this thing. This is a huge basement setup. Full living room, big bedroom, huge bathroom. And then we have this nice turfed backyard. The only downside to that basement, it's not a walkout, so it's going to be darker down there. Lots of lighting in the ceiling will help with that for sure. And then here's another example. This one is below $1 million. They don't all have to be over $1 million, but you will see differences on the price point. This one's in Highlands Ranch. We've got open space. I want you to see some of that right there. You'll see the house looks different, definitely a little more dated, but we've got a full kitchen in that basement. We've got a large living area. This one has fluorescent lights in the ceiling, so you may end up wanting to update that. Depends if they're making that hum noise, if that's a bother to anyone. We have a walkout. That's fantastic. A very large room, huge, loads of space. Nice big bathroom, another bedroom, and just really wide space for having people. And then we look at these backyard photos and we see windows and doors, so it is a walkout. Lots of natural light in that space. Okay, now what if you just don't need to be under the same roof? What if it's not appealing? What if these are adult parents following adult kids? The kids are young marrieds getting married. The adults are in their 60s and still active, and we don't need to be living together. I have multiple situations like this. What I have often seen, not every time, but I have often seen and helped with are buying side-by-side duplexes, right? We have young kids starting out, they're moving here from a city with a different cost of living, and say 600, maybe 700 is the max budget. The whole goal is to get here and live a very active lifestyle. There's no kids involved yet, modest price point. Maybe the parents are helping out with the down payment on the property. And then the parents are downsizing. They want no yard work, no maintenance, easy lifestyle. So a townhome is absolutely right up their alley. Well, I have paired up quite a few kids and parents into duplexes. Not even always on each side, right? Buying an entire full building. We've seen them buy one side of one building and one of another and share the yard, because that makes for great neighbors. You can always tell your kids or your parents to quiet down. You know who's going to be smoking outside, hopefully no one, or if you both smoke, then great. But it's a lot easier to control that between building space when you know each other. So that is a fantastic option if single family home is not your top priority. And budget-wise, it's not always a budget buster. It might put you in similar territory price-wise. Let's look at some options. So Richmond does a paired home setup. And I will say, you're almost always wanting to go with a new build because there's hardly any other way to get yourself in a side-by-side setup. It's very rare that two neighbors in a community are going to be selling side-by-side where you can do this. If you don't mind being a little farther away from each other, then getting into the same neighborhood is not really a problem. But if your goal is side-by-side, you almost always want to buy from dirt with the builder. So Richmond has quite a few options in their urban collection. You have, this one shows Haskin Station, which is in Arvada, but there are multiple other locations with them. The price point for this location is in the fives, right? So two of those with upgrades would put you just over $1 million. They've got opportunities in Sterling Ranch and other ones around the area. Okay, Lennar in Dove Village, which is in the Parker area. I don't love the location only because it's really close to C470, so you'll always have a hum of road noise, but I just want to show you the option. And if Lennar puts out another paired home product, great choice. So let's see the price on that. We're looking at somewhere in the sixes. And then of course there are usually incentives, whether we're looking at price or financing incentives. And then we have this one, which is Century Homes. This one is in Parker, Anthology North. They have single family homes and then this paired home product. They're starting below 500. All right, so we could be all in with upgrades and design choices at right around the $1 million mark. Also a fantastic option price-wise. Now, in true living together apart fashion, what if you don't want to necessarily live even next door to each other? I have clients who are buying two separate dwellings. They are married and do not plan to live together. I have another set of clients where they are in a relationship after being in other relationships, and she already has her own place, bought in a 55 plus community, does not plan to sell hers, but there are no more new construction homes there. He wants to be in a 55 plus community and is looking at building with the same builder in a new location with that builder, right? And they're just gonna keep their respective homes. They enjoy traveling together, they enjoy being together, but they are not going to move in together. They are gonna maintain their separate residences. This is just not uncommon with me, with the world I see, with people I serve. So what does it look like to have two residences? Now, single family home, it's just purchasing a single family home. But what about when we're trying to meet two distinct personalities and needs and get them into a space near each other where it's easy to commute, have coffee, go to shops, and do life together? I'm in the middle of serving clients like that right now. And wouldn't it be fun to tell you that budget's not a constraint? It always is. Everyone has a budget unless you're Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. All right, so here are some options. We're looking right now in the downtown area for my current clients, and we have definitely not even tipped past the $1 million mark to hit what each of them need. Here are some samples of what you could find if you're doing the living together apart scenario. So here's a condo building downtown. Now I am going to tell you, I am not necessarily hopeful for my people to get a condo. I'm looking actually for them to get maybe a 1-bed, 1-bath, small house that's 400 to 800 square feet, because I would rather them not spend their budget on the condo. In this case, they aren't worried about maintenance on the unit and having the townhome or condo take care of snow removal. They don't mind having a house. They don't mind having a spot to let the dog run free. Even at $449, if you like that lifestyle, if you're coming in and want the amenities and the fitness center and the business center and the security, this is a really good deal. And when I searched for these, I filtered for a very modest HOA fee. They can get crazy, but I searched for something that was under $400 a month, which in downtown Denver, very good. All right, let's go and look at this one. This is in a really good area. We're at $700,000. This would be on the higher end. There are others, but this is just what was kind of active in the market right now. We're in a smaller building, so a little more boutique experience. Again, for my folks, and what I would always encourage for anyone I'm chatting with, is weigh the pros and cons of being in a spot where you can spend the money not on an HOA fee because you can't control how much they go up over time, and instead put that money into single family or something that you have full control over. It just makes containing your budget and managing your life a little easier, keeps you in control of your finances. But what we see here for downtown lifestyle and keeping what my folks want is to be, near Sloan Lake, near Berkeley, walkable, downtown, access to great food, access to events. And this is giving them exactly what they want, all within, a 10-minute drive from each other to have their dates and their coffee and their lifestyle. Plus, if you're a living apart together couple and you travel for work, you're not far from the airport. And if you wanted to take light rail, you can do that too. You don't even have to have a car to get to the airport or most of the activities that you're doing downtown. This one, we're at a 2-bed, 1-bath, almost 1,700 square foot unit for under $600,000. So the budget options are great, okay? So I just want to show not everyone is traditional, not everything is traditional, and the budget doesn't necessarily get blown when you do 2 places versus 1. And this may also be the case if you're looking at options to bring along kids, bring along parents, you and your spouse, your significant other do life a little differently. We do it all, and it's awesome ways to be creative here. So if living apart together here in Denver is part of your plan, let's connect. I'd love to chat. And I will see y'all next week.